I know there's plenty of summer left, but it feels awfully like autumn this evening. Tuesday night at the ballpark, the Rockies taking on the Washington Nationals. It was about 47 degrees, tied a record low at the airport this morning. David Hale sprinting almost back to the Coors Field mound. It's been more than 5 weeks since he toed the rubber in a big league game, and he's looking to get after the Washington Nationals. It'll be his second career start against Washington. The Nationals have been struggling in a big way. They're 4.5 behind the Mets in the NL East beginning play today. They've lost 6 consecutive games, so they've kind of taken an axe to their lineup, and Matt Williams is revisiting something Washington did a few years back. They have Jason Worth leading off, trying to get his bat going. Take a look at the rest of the lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Danny Espinosa bats second, then Bryce Harper third. Yunel Escobar will follow. Ian Desmond swinging the bat well on this road trip. Ryan Zimmerman swung the bat well against the Rockies a week and a half ago. Then Michael A. Taylor, Wilson Ramos, and Jordan Zimmerman to face David Hale. Here's more on David.
3-1 at Coors Field out of 6 games. 5 of those have been starts. He's pitched well here. Mid-5 ERA. They've scored a lot of runs for him when he has been out here. He went out and made 3 rehab starts in AAA. 12 innings, 17 hits. He struck out 8 in those 3 starts. I think a lot of people looked at David when he was with the Atlanta Braves. They put him in the bullpen. Part of that reason is first and second time through, he held the opposition's batting average down very low. The third time through, they seemed to get after him a little bit. So he was suited for that. The Rockies have asked him to come out and start. He'll start here against the Nationals tonight.
So here's Worth. Now, you might look at Worth and say, God, he's always been a middle of the order hitter, and he has been for the most part, but he's hit this top spot. Back in 2012, he hit there frequently. He takes a lot of pitches. It's part of his MO, whether he's hitting first or he's hitting fourth for you. And because of that, his ability to draw walks, and also, as Matt said earlier, maybe to take some pressure off him, not feeling like he's got to drive in a bunch of runs. We're going to put him in the leadoff spot.
Well, it's a good thing. Their ball club has not hit of late. They have struggled to score an awful lot of runs. Starting pitching has not worked deep into games. And when you get those combinations going, it's not a good result.
David's first 3 pitches have been up in the zone, 2 above the zone, 1 in the zone, so it's 2-1. Last 4 games, as George was talking about, the starting pitching has gone less than 4 innings on average. The only guy who went fairly long was Strasburg. Swung on and missed. They're coming off a sweep in San Francisco, where in the middle 2 games they scored some runs. They still got beat.
That's been difficult. The bullpen has struggled of late, giving up a lot of runs late. They can't get to Papelbon.
2-2 pitches hit in the air to Cargo in right. This will be an easy play. Carlos has it as we take a look at the rest of the Rockies defense. Charlie Blackmon was under the weather in particular yesterday. He's feeling much better today, but Walt Weiss is going to give him another day of rest. He is available. Barnes is playing center field with Parker and Gonzalez joining him. And then it's Arenado, Reyes, LeMahieu, and Paulson in the infield with Nick Hundley coming off a strong series against San Diego behind the plate. 1 out. Danny Espinosa will step up. Versatile infielder, play every spot in the infield. Got pop. They tried to take that bunt with them toward second base.
A lot of that has to do with the shift. You're very deep at second. You're very deep at short. If you can get it in between that triangle, you can typically come up with a base hit.
67 degrees our game time temperature.
How nice is that? Huh?
Yeah, it's the coolest we've seen it in a long time. Rockies fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts or photos via Twitter. You can use Instagram, Facebook as well. Make sure you include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Good pitch. 1-2.
Bottom half of the zone where you want to be with this particular pitch. Take something off, throw the slider, have him swing out over the top of it.
David out of Marietta, Georgia, and the slider's in the dirt. 2-2. Went to Princeton. Studied operations research and financial engineering at Princeton. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Espinosa. And that's fouled off. The Nationals have been the talk of baseball of late for all the wrong reasons. A team that won 96 games last year, George, and a team that many predicted would represent the National League in the World Series, and obviously all of that is still a possibility. But they're a game under 500. Nobody thought that would be the case this far into the season. In fact, at the same juncture last year, they had won 70 games. They were 70-53 last year.
Now, good hard fastball right on the inside corner. Everybody thought it was a strike except one guy, Gary Cederstrom, the home plate umpire.
Two on Espinosa, and he strikes him out with a 91-mile-an-hour sinking fastball. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Bryce Harper.
Take a look at his injury. That's when he tagged up, came home, seemed kind of grimace there, and start to come into the home plate area. You can tell that he's got a little bit of a limp in it. Then he threw one pitch, comes after the ball at home plate. Everybody in the dugout at that point could see that it was not normal. The way he was reacting on the mound, and as a pitcher you start to shorten strides, change arm angles, and that's how other injuries occur.
Back and healthy, he's facing Bryce Harper here. 2 outs, nobody on. Harper takes that pitch down low, ball 1. Bryce on the road trip has hit a home run. It was his 30th of the year. First guy 22 or under from the left side of the plate to hit 30 home runs since Boog Powell.
Oh man, I hated facing him.
You got to face him when he was in his 30s though, right?
Yeah, but he still hit him a long way. He just, you know.
Big man.
He's huge. Has he still got the barbecue place in Baltimore out in right field? I think it's still out there.
I think so. 2-0 on Harper. Harper leading the National League with a .340 average against right-handed pitching. And he got a changeup. Good pitch. Feed him a fastball. 2-0.
The ability to do this separates you as a starting pitcher. When you have confidence to throw the changeup and put it in that location, you typically get good results.
He went back to it a little. Yeah, it's fastball.
Well, he wanted to fire, didn't he?
Yeah. 3-1.
Man, he wanted to fire at that pitch. I tell you, he has such bat speed through the zone. He was able to hold up on this. How, I don't know.
He's never torn it up here at Coors Field. Hopefully don't eat those words these next 3 days. He has 1 career home run at Coors Field. The batting leaders in the National League, DJ 5th. And again, he goes off speed. Nicely done. It's 3-2. Harper has reached in 100 of the 110 games he's played. Two on Harper. Where's that?
Not getting the inside fastball called for strikes too in this inning. And he's put right where Nick Hundley has asked for the pitch to come. And not getting the results as a strike. Probably a little bit low. Looked like he caught enough of the plate though.
Well, Bryce Harper with his 85th walk of the year. That's why he has the highest on-base percentage in baseball. Big difference from his first couple of years in the league. Didn't have the patience he now has. Yunel Escobar fouls that pitch back. Well, here's the difference. Harper from a year ago, injury-riddled year, but still He's maturing quickly, George. The chase percentage is down, the walks way up, and that's going to lead to the higher batting average. You're hitting strikes.
Yeah, he's figuring it out. That's the one thing he's doing.
Escobar tardy there, and it's 0-2. It almost looked like he was sitting on the off-speed pitch. Unell came from Oakland in the offseason in the Tyler Clippard deal. And now the Nationals get to see Clippard all the time since he was traded at the deadline to the Mets. He's setting up Familia.
And doing quite well.
Mets are playing Baltimore at Camden. They're up 2-0 in the fourth. Inside.
DeGrom's on the mound for them.
Is that why Baltimore hasn't scored?
Pretty much. Pick any of the five. That's why the teams don't score.
Seems to be almost unanimity of the players we've talked to lately. I think DeGrom's got the best stuff of anybody they faced this year.
Well, when you're still 97 and it's in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning of a ball game, yeah, it's got pretty good stuff.
Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special.
Kind of guys drive you crazy. Foul off, foul off, foul off, and you look up and you've had a 20 or 22 pitch inning instead of having a 15 pitch inning.
Well, it's 24 right now. To your point, there's been a couple of borderline pitches that were called balls, and even though it's just the 4th batter of the inning, do the math, they're averaging 6+ pitches per batter, which is an enormous amount. And that was a borderline pitch, and that wasn't even borderline. That's well inside the strike zone. So right now, Gary Cederstrom has a postage stamp for a strike zone. I mean, where's that?
Well, you saw it on the 4th strike zone. It was at the bottom of the zone on the Subaru Supermo. Another closer look at it. It was not a ball.
And this ball's well hit right center field. Cargo hoping for an opportunity. He does not. It sails out.
See what one pitch call in a ball game, called or not called.
Well, and then he had to bring the ball up a little bit because he wasn't rewarded for doing what you're taught, and that is to throw the ball at the knees or below. And it's a 2-run home run for Unell Escobar, his 9th of the year, and a quick start for Washington.
Well, I tell you, you get the slider, you get it called a strike. Now this pitch, pretty good pitch again by Hale. It's a slider. See the rotation on the pitch, but elevated about 3 or 4 inches, and then the ball driven out to right field.
And the next pitch is put in play by Desmond. Kyle Parker will make the catch. 2-run home run, Unell Escobar, and the Nationals have a 2-0 lead. have Jordan Zimmermann on the hill facing the Rockies, the product of Wisconsin Stevens Point. Jose Reyes going to lead it off with Charlie Blackmon watching the initial first part of this ball game. So here's the rest of the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss. DJ LeMahieu back in a spot he has been placed in quite a bit this year with great success, the 2-hole. Then Cargo at 270. He's got 3 home runs this year against the Nationals. Nolan Arenado, Ben Paulson, Nick Hundley, Kyle Parker, Brandon Barnes, and David Hale. Jordan Zimmermann, George, has never lost to the Rockies.
No, he hasn't, but his last win was all the way back on July 11th. In those 6 starts, he's 0-3 with a 3.68 earned run average. Obviously, very, very respectable earned run average. How about this? He's got 2.2 run support in those 6 starts. So he's not getting any run support. His earned run average at home, 244, out on the road, 455. What's gotten him hurt is a lot of times this is going to be a tough play.
Reyes beat it. An infield hit for Jose.
The thing that's hurt Zimmermann, the opposition has hit .304 with runners in scoring position. Now, high hopper over the top of the mound. Zimmermann no play. He's going to have to be charged and attempt to play by the second baseman, Espinosa, and it's not going to happen. You can see Reyes at speed just outran the play.
Jose was watching the play, George. He goes, whoa, I'm a little.
And he still beat it.
Yeah, got to veer in the right direction here. So Reyes with Zimmermann checking him out quickly. DJ's 5 for 11 career-wise against Jordan Zimmermann.
Nationals 42-20 when they score first in a ball game.
Zimmermann has faced the Rockies 9 times, a 5-0 mark and a 2.10 ERA. Things you really like about this guy is he's not afraid. 19-game winner 2 years ago, 14-5 last year. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. This ball is hit pretty well right center field. Wynn's got a hold of this thing, and it is chased down by Harper.
There's a strong wind out to the bullpen area. You mentioned that about Zimmermann. 1.6 walks. He's not going to beat himself. What a great way to put it. He doesn't beat himself. 1.6 walks per 9 innings. That's 4th best in the National League.
Well,
who's leading that, Doug?
Across the board, when you look at the Scherzers and the Jordan Zimmermans and the Steven Strasburgs, you look at the Mets coming in, their power arms, they don't walk guys.
Cologne with the Mets has the least amount of walks, then Scherzer, Bumgarner, and Zimmermann. 2 of the top 4 are here on this ball club.
Bumgarner just beat the Nationals 2 days ago. Hit a home run, hit a double, threw a shutout. Inside on Cargo. He continues to hit monstrous home runs, literally and figuratively. The other day, first 11 hitters were retired by Ian Kennedy. 0-0 game, and he hits one into the fountains in center field to make it 1-0.
There's a no-hitter.
I mean, he retired the first 11 guys. He was perfect.
It was unbelievable watching him throw. But it was even a lot more fun to watch Cargo visit the water.
This skips away, and Jose is going to move to second. That was in the dirt. Jordan Zimmermann looks off in disgust. It's a throwing error on the pitcher.
You like to see it. I mean, the ball's wide, and you got a third baseman who's been playing first for about a year and a half. Figure out ways to try to get to that baseball. As a pitcher with a guy on speed, with a lot of speed on bases, a lot of times you're going to throw it a little bit away from the bag and up. And you'd like to throw it down with a right-handed fielding first baseman.
Cargo slices this foul and out of play. Cargo career-wise 3 for 16 with 7 strikeouts against Jordan Zimmermann. Matt Williams was asked literally second question of his press conference this afternoon. How are you going to pitch to Carlos Gonzalez? He said very carefully. Cargo hit 3 home runs in that series at Nationals Park, and they were all big blows. Like this one. Take a good look. You won't see it for long.
That ball barely got out. I thought that ball was upper deck.
Well, you want to know what? It went as high as it went far, and Cargo has just tied it up. And Matt Williams will be asked the same question tonight after the game. Hard to avoid a guy in the first inning, though.
Obviously, that's not something you're going to worry about in the first inning. Runner at second base. Cargo with the wave to the crowd and into the dugout, and high fives everywhere. He kind of looked at it like, is it going to stay fair? He's watching it down the line. He realizes it is a fair ball.
So with one swing of that magical bat of his, Cargo has tied it up with his 28th home run of the year. He has 69 RBIs.
You look where this ball lands. I thought that ball had a chance. Seriously, when it was hit from the sound of the bat, I thought it was way up in the seats.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it was one of those towering home runs, George, and there's a ton of wind up there, and I think that's why Cargo wasn't sure if it was going to stay fair. This ball's down the line. Extra bases for Nolan Arenado. Worth will have to get it out of the corner, and Nolan with another double. And for Arenado, that's his 28th double to go along with 29 home runs. Jordan Zimmerman's not used to being treated like this.
Not this early in a ball game, I guarantee you, at any point. Wow. Fastball right down the middle, center cut. Nolan right on top of it, pulled it right by the third baseman, Escobar. No reach for him to even make a play on this ball. A one-hop line drive into the corner.
That'll bring up Ben Paulson. Look out. Two-run home run from Yunel Escobar in the top of the first. Two-run home run bottom of the first from Carlos Gonzalez. Zimmerman calls out Wilson Ramos. Let's take a look at the gloves for Washington behind Zimmerman. Jason Wirtz in left field. Michael Taylor is in center field. Bryce Harper, good outfielders in right. Ian Desmond, Danny Espinosa up the middle. Ryan Zimmerman, former Gold Glovers, now at first. And this is fouled back. This is a defense that's kind of middle of the road when you just look at fielding percentage, but they have struggled at times.
.22 errors at shortstop by Desmond.
It's been a tough year offensively and defensively for one of the better shortstop talents in the game, Ian Desmond. He's picked it up offensively over the last few weeks.
10th in the National League overall as a fielding percentage at 98.4.
This ball on the ground to Desmond. And there are 2 outs. That'll bring up Nick Hundley as Arenado crossed to third. Well, Stink never misses a moment to be involved in social media or media in general. Mark, son Daniel, former first-round pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks, huge Rockies fan. That's a strike. Nick Hundley. Inside, ball 1-1-1.
Well, you mentioned how Zimmerman had not been treated this way. Third all-time lowest earned run average with at least 8 starts against the Rockies. 210.
No swing. They check it out at first with Jim Wolf.
Wainwright 145, Oswalt 189, and Randy Johnson. Frank Castillo, the other pitcher.
Two-two ball game. Bottom of the first. And Hundley takes a strike. It's 2-2. Zimmerman pitched really well against the Rockies. Left the ball game with a 4-1 lead. Then cargo happened in the 8th inning against Drew Storer and hit that grand slam to put the Rockies up 5-4. This ball on the ground, deep short, dropped by Desmond. It's going to cost him a run. We were talking about the infield defense, in particular the rough year that he and Desmond has had. His 22nd error, and the Rockies take a 3-2 lead.
Actually 23rd error for Desmond on the year, and he had an easy backhand on the baseball and it just scooted away from the glove. Another look at the ball hit by Hundley. 2-hopper, got a clean hop at short, and just placed himself in a good position physically if he catches the ball to be able to throw out Nick Hundley, a very good running catcher. That allows Nolan to come in to score, and it's a 3-2 Rockies ball game. It hit right smack in the center of the glove. It just didn't stick.
Kyle Parker at the plate. 2 errors in this first frame for Washington. Like the Rockies, they were off yesterday. The 6-game losing streak matches their longest of the year. They had one the 3rd week of April, and they responded from that by going 20-5 over their next 25 games. And you know, they're trying to put a positive spin on things with all this talent. So, all right, you know, we're fixing to get hot, and then they come out and have this kind of inning defensively. 2 balls and a strike on Parker. Here goes Hundley, and it's fouled off.
Yeah, the wind may keep that in the ballpark. They're starting to push it. Chase. It's up about 6-8 rows up.
This reminds me of a late September evening. Temperature in the 60s with pretty good wind gusts. Cargo a 2-run home run, and then the unearned run a moment ago. 2-2 outside, 3-2 on Parker. So Zimmerman, we were talking about the elevated pitch count of David Hale at the top of the first. This next pitch will be number 25 for Jordan Zimmerman. Swung on and missed. That'll end the inning. The Rockies take the lead. Cargo with his 24th home run his last 61 games. And the Rockies are out front 3-2 as we turn the page to inning number 2. Hometown Toyota stores, let's go places. By Colorado native, August is Colorado Proud Month. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. A rather interesting first frame is complete at Coors Field. The Rockies leading 3-2 over the Nationals. Ryan Zimmerman will be first in the top of the second against David Hale. The fastball is too tall, ball one. Zimmerman, when the Rockies were in town, produced an RBI in all 3 games in the midst of throwing out an RBI in 8 straight games. This ball's well hit toward left center field, and Parker had to reroute, and it goes all the way to that deep corner, and Ryan Zimmerman has a leadoff double. Let's check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, guys, there's Cargo over my shoulder. He's healthy because it was 1 year ago that he had surgery on that left knee, and I reminded him of it today, but as he said, that's not something he's thinking about.
It's in the past. I'm really happy where I'm at now. You know, I worked really hard to get back on the field during the off season, and you know, I'm finally here. I'm glad it's over a year, and we're talking baseball, and I'm healthy.
Anybody that's had surgery, you know, you look at dates on the calendar, and you get to that 1 year, and finally you feel well. And Cargo proving that, of course, with the home run already here tonight, guys.
Yeah, he's proved that the last couple of months, Mark.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back, and he's back putting on a show. Here's Michael A. Taylor, and he hits this ball well to right. Cargo near the line makes the catch, and tagging and moving up 90 feet is Ryan Zimmerman. That wind could really be an issue if it continues like this tonight.
Well, that left field, it's open, and that's where the wind's coming from right now. Drew and I are feeling it here in the booth, so you know, if we're elevated about 3.5 stories in the air, and you're feeling a lot of the weight right here.
Wilson Ramos, catcher for Washington, 236 average, 9 home runs. He's driven in 49. Rockies playing the infield back with 1 out in the second. I guess based on the early complexion of this game. Sometimes they charge in. Walt's done that before. I learned that from Tony La Russa book. Now Reyes is kind of creeping right now, along with LeMahieu. They moved into halfway, and here they come running in. Hard on the ground to third. Nolan will hold the runner and fire across, 2 outs.
One more look at we're taking a look at the defensive alignment of the Rockies with the Ramos at plate. About halfway right now with Paulson in tight on the grass on the right side. The middle of the infield comes. Nolan stays back. You have a pull hitter and a power hitter at the plate. If you stay back, particularly with Nolan's arm, to allow him to have a little bit more range to field the baseball.
So 2 outs. Jordan Zimmerman at the plate, and he hits it slowly to third. And a nice job getting out of that, David Hale, after the leadoff double by Ryan Zimmerman. 3-2 Colorado, middle of 2. Play of that man with the bat in particular. The Rockies won 2 of 3 despite hitting only .220. They hit 5 home runs, and most of them came late in games. Their team ERA was 4.5. Check this out. Against the Nats, they struck out 36 times, walked only 3 times. On the pitching side, 15 walks, 27 hits. They had 4 errors. But Cargo paved the way to 2 victories as opposed to getting swept based on those numbers. And tonight, he tied up the ball game in the bottom of the first with a home run to right. 3 of his 4 hits, trots around the bases. Brandon Barnes hitting that 8-hole. Takes ball 1. David Hale and then Jose Reyes. Barnes recently extracted himself from an 0 for 22 with a 2-hit performance. Inside 2-1.
I like it.
Well, it's a fun time of year if you're in it, with scoreboard watching. And even though the Nationals have been miserable of late, they got help from the Pirates, who took 2 of 3 from the Mets. This ball is in the air to center field. Taylor's out there. 4.5 games separating Washington from first place New York at the beginning of play today. That's now leading 3-0 in Camden Yards behind Jacob deGrom. David Hale has 1 career hit. Came in an Atlanta uniform last year.
Pretty good swing, though. I mean, it's not bailing or anything.
So basically what you're saying is he's going to have more hits.
Well, I think he'll have a chance. Beats whenever you're looking up in the stands in the third base side when you swing. Run hard. Throw it away.
He tried, though.
I was thinking of it. The world's best barbecue competition teams will be at Coors Field Saturday, September the 19th. Purchase the barbecue ticket package to vote for the Fans' Choice Award. Sample some incredible barbecue and visit with the award-winning cooking teams. Are we going to enter that, Drew?
We may. We're going to talk about it in the next commercial break. That man, George, can swing the bat, and he can also pitch. Chris Russell, the 5-hit shutout, complete game shutout on Sunday. He had a home run earlier this year against Carlos Martinez. That ball's rifled foul by Jose Reyes. So Russell joins a select group of former Rockies pitchers. The mighty Bo, Brian Bohannon, who could swing it. Mike Hampton, who, what did he hit, 7 home runs one year? And now Chris Russell. Those 3 guys are the only 3 pitchers in Rockies history to throw a complete game shutout and have a home run in the same season. How about that?
That's pretty impressive.
Yes.
And he's the #1 pinch hitter off the bench early in games.
Well, I was saying to Walt, I said next year, if you get one of those long affairs, this ball's pretty well hit by Reyes, deep right field. Get up, get out. First home run for Reyes in a Rockies uniform. He will do that once in a while.
First in a Rockies uniform, his 5th of the year, the 5th home run for him. 39th overall. A line drive tag fashion to right field. He got a hold of it. Appeared to be a changeup out of the hand of Zimmerman. Subaru Supermo. He catch the flight of the ball right here. Boy, what a great shot, guys. DJ hit one to the track in his first at bat. See, that's even prettier than the other look.
I like that angle. It's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on LeMahieu. Jose Reyes. It's good advice. No matter what you do. 2-1. Jose has an 8-game hitting streak, kind of a quiet streak, just a hit in every game till today with the single, the infield hit, and then the big fly. DJ off the end of the bat to second. Espinosa throws him out. Jordan Zimmerman now trails 4-2 as we go to the 3rd. Festive in that Rockies dugout, especially when you get Rams and Barnes together, huh? Rockies uniform. Time for our big hit presented by Mako. Turn the car you drive into the car you love. 1-0 game, bases loaded against Ian Kennedy, and Mike McHenry unloads the bases with a 3-run double. DJ safe at the plate, and that jumped the lead to 4-0. Chris Russin went on to win 5-0 that complete game shutout. Jason Worth, as he did starting out the ball game, it's a fly ball to virtually the same spot. Cargo makes the catch. It's Charlie Blackmon. You can tell he feels better.
He got a smile on his face.
That's right. I'll bring up Danny Espinosa. The Nationals have been more of a big swing team. George, check this out. This year, they've hit 117 home runs coming into the ballgame night. That's 11th in Major League Baseball in home runs, but just 27th in hits. It's like Earl Weaver baseball, huh?
That or the Houston Astro type baseball. That's what they're doing about right now.
But Houston plays great defense, and
I think that's pretty good starting pitching, as do the Nationals. The big difference down in Houston this year has been their bullpen.
There's the 1-0 on Espinosa. It's down low, 2-0.
195 career hitter against the Colorado Rockies and 78 at bats.
Shift is on for Espinosa. Struck out his first time on a fastball away, and he has a base hit toward left center field. Parker trying to cut it off. He will. Espinosa runs well, and he's going to have a double standing up. Bryce Harper coming up. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag RMDataStrongFan, and you might find yourself in an upcoming game broadcast. We'll check our picture of the night a little bit later on. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Harper walked his first time up. Came around on the home run by Yunel Escobar. 4-2 Colorado in front, top of 3.
I kind of understand pitching against her. Kind of away from the left-handed hitting Harper, who can do a lot of damage. He's noticeable by the 30 home runs. But you got to remember, Escobar hit the home run off of him in his previous at bat. Not on a very good pitch either. It's a four-seam fastball. I thought a slider to begin with, but a four-seam fastball on a replay. And he hit it out into right center field. More comfortable going right on right either way.
So another walk to Harper. And it'll bring up Escobar. With every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Hale thought he had struck out Escobar on a 2-2 pitch. It looked like it was right at the knees. He brought the next pitch up a little bit, and Escobar lined it in the Rockies bullpen for a 2-run home run. 1 out, 2 on. Boy, that's late.
Really late. Well, the pitch prior to him hitting the home run, everybody in the park that wore purple, it was a Rocky, thought it was strike 3. It caught on the bottom of the 4th strike zone, and the next pitch he hit out to right center field. Home run pitch. 4-seam fastball. He wanted to work to the outside corner. Caught a little bit too much of the plate. And Escobar drove it out into right field. Right into, dumped it into the Rockies bullpen. And all of a sudden, Hale's having a tough time. 6 straight balls in a row. Yeah, the quarterback of your infield is typically your shortstop, as it was with Tulowitzki when he was here to make those visits to the mound. Now it's Reyes. You know, a lot of times that shortstop walks up on the mound, tells the pitcher, hey, put a good sink on the baseball here. Let's get to and get in the dugout. You're always trying to give confidence as much as you can.
Up the middle, it's going to sneak through, base hit. Here comes Espinosa, and going first to third is Harper. It's 4-3. So Escobar has driven in all 3 runs.
Well, you got a pitch that you wanted to get. You got the ground ball. It's just it squeaked right through the middle between DJ and Reyes. Back up the middle, pretty good speed on the base pass with Espinosa and Harper. Harper goes all the way to third. They don't steal a tremendous amount of bases. Ian Desmond with 10, Taylor with 15, everybody else below 5 or less.
Desmond.
Good pitch, stay in the ballpark.
It's going to land right on top of the basically on top of the Rockies dugout. Come on, you come to the ballpark, have a chance to make a play, then you get booed. That's not right.
And you're not getting the ball back either. 178 average with runners in scoring position this year for Ian Desmond. He didn't get it back. Now it's a strike. Well, everybody has an off first inning. Not just players, umpires do too. That time it was called a strike.
Goes foul.
I just wondered there. It almost like a self-defense swing because Escobar made a break as if he was going to go to second. And the pitch was down and in, and it looked like Desmond just kind of took an emergency hack at it to go 1 and 2. Escobar's about this time has faked his bluff, and there's kind of a half swing at the baseball. Not even a full swing. Heavy sink on it. Zimmerman's in the on deck circle. He is a double to lead off the second.
And this is right in front of the plate. There's no one. There's no one to cover the play once Nick went and got it, obviously, and the tying run scores on an infield hit by Desmond. That's 4 straight who've reached. And it's 4-4 here in the third.
Double walk, ground ball single, and a number in front of home plate, result in a couple of runs for the Washington Nationals. Good sinker by Hale. But you're right. As soon as Nick came out from behind, watch his feet right here as he started to throw. That right knee went completely out from underneath him. On the Subaru Supermo, right there. The cleat does not stick into the turf here at Coors Field. And unable to make that throw. So first and second in 1 out now. You'd like to see a lot more strikes than balls, and you do see a few more, but you'd like to see a lot more.
Ryan Zimmerman with the double last inning snapped an 0 for 15 slide. He's always hit well at Coors Field. 355. Just 7th best all time. Guys that have at least 100 ABs here.
Buster Posey, saw that name at the top at 397. Beltre, Wright, Andy Ramirez, Holiday, Utley. A lot of all-stars. You know, it hasn't just been, you mentioned Zimmerman, a 351 average. He's also hit 13 home runs. He's had 29 doubles and 58 RBIs and 244 at bats.
One on Zimmerman, and that's off the end of the bat. Fortunately, just foul. That thing almost went over the bag. That's coming later in the year, isn't it? Brady, Manning.
Well, how many games does Manning get to miss, or Brady get to miss start out with? 4?
Right now, 4. Who knows? Taxpayer dollars figuring out
the Brady gate,
the deflated football deal. Is that ludicrous or what?
Yeah, Albuquerque trails 4-1 to Memphis. Eddie Butler, 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, a walk, and 3 strikeouts in that ball game. Thomas, 47 RBIs on the year now.
Swung on a miss. Zimmerman gone on a slider. 2 outs.
Big out. Really big out with him and what he's been able to do against the Rockies in his career.
Tinoco's been just outstanding. Jesus Tinoco for Asheville, that's his 4th start there, and they've all been terrific. Hoffman has pitched well. That new Brit. Castro's had a bunch of good outings for Albuquerque.
No, that coincides a little bit. Asheville, we're 4 games back now in the second half, but they've been playing really good baseball. 28-21 after scuffling a little bit at the start of the year. You know, Taylor, 365 average is not good to know when you got runners in scoring position. Swing and miss here. 0-2, way ahead, making chase.
Ball, 2 strikes. Swung on and missed, and the strikeout ends the inning. So 2 men left aboard, but 2 runners did score in the inning, and it's 4-4 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Cargo will lead it off. The Nationals. Cargo's first time up. This is how it ended. That familiar, not a bad flip, just a back drop. He hit it about 400 feet high as he drove it out. Cargo, Arenado, and Paulson, and the first pitch misses from Jordan Zimmerman. Jose Reyes also a home run for the Rockies, his first in a Colorado uniform. There's the 1-0. Called a strike by the crew chief Gary Cederstrom. Jim Wolf's at first, Lance Barksdale at second, Quinn Walcott is at third.
I'll try to challenge with the fastball. You saw it drop down 83% of the time. It's a matter of the location of the fastball. You know, where it does, and it counts on a 2-1 count. He went, he elevated the heater. I started to look in all of his starts this year. He had back-to-back starts. Boston 2 1/3, 8 runs. 6 1/3 against Philly, 4 runs. Gave up 4 runs at Atlanta. Won the ball game 13-4 in that game. had 4 of the ball games since then where he given up the 4, 6, 4, and 5. 5 runs was against the Mets. They lost 5-2. 3-2 count. Normally he goes to the fastball 75% of the time. Players know those same statistics. He went slider, and he got the strikeout.
He got the strikeout on a pitch and looked down, but it was in the strike zone. So he missed one earlier for David Hale. That one called a strike, and Cargo's gone leading off the 3rd.
Well, this is where the analytics of the game, as we're telling you the percentage of these fastballs. You look on the Supermo, the slider. Hitters know, okay, I got a 3-to-1 shot. He's going to give me a fastball to hit on a 3-2 count. If they throw something else, tip my cap and go back to the dugout. If it totally fools me, they're going to strike me out. If they may get me out on a ground ball. But it's the knowledge of knowing what those percentages are against you as a hitter. It's a huge benefit for them.
One ball, one strike on Nolan. Pulled a double down the third base line his first time up. And this ball lined to the left field corner. It's got to stay fair. It is a foul ball. You want to talk about 3 of the top young players in the game. It always begins with Mike Trout. Bryce Harper as well, 24, 22, and Nolan's 24. Batting average, you see there. What's interesting is Nolan has more extra base hits than either Trout or Harper. Harper with 30 home runs. Nolan with 29. Jordan Zimmerman out of Division III, Wisconsin, Stevens Point. And the 1-2 top foul.
There's a lot of kids that develop very late in their careers. I was one of them. Jeff Houston was one of those. You fill out, you throw harder, you get bigger, you get stronger. A lot of times kids want to stay close to home. There's so much promotion now of players, young players. You can find out a lot about them.
Now Nolan, when he strikes out, he doesn't strike out all that frequently. When he does, it's typically sliders away that give him fits, but he's not alone.
Hey, the first 10,000 fans through the gates on Saturday, August 22nd, you're going to receive a Carlos Gonzalez Star Wars bobblehead. Get your tickets to this ball game versus the Mets today. This is a pretty cool bobblehead too, by the way. Now, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you as soon as Zimmerman throws this next pitch to Ben Paulson. How about that? Isn't that cool looking? That's neat. All right, he's got to turn around so he's got everything on the backside. I think that's really, really. How's that, Sam? Is that better for you, Sam? I just think it's a kind of a neat little bobblehead, and Star Wars obviously a big part of baseball now. They have that Star Wars Day every year, I should say. Star Wars every day at my house when all the kids were little. Never got chased much by swords with lights in them.
0-2 on Paulson.
Doug, is that going to the collection? Yes.
That's the guy you don't want to see settle in.
No. Well, what he does, he's a veteran guy that's been around a lot. He's won a lot of ball games, 68 to be exact, or 65, excuse me, with 48 losses. He'll turn this into an American League start. He just say to himself, all right, hey, I got to go at least 6-7. Keep it right here at 4-4 and let's see what happens after that.
Four runs, 4 hits for the Rockies, 4 runs, 5 hits for the Nationals. 0-2 on Paulson, and it's pop foul. Strike three. He struck out the side in the third. First 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Zimmerman. To the fourth we go. Rockies 4 and Nationals 4. Volume Lexus dealer. Yunel Escobar in the first inning lined a 2-run home run to the Rockies bullpen. But the Rockies would counter in the bottom of the first in a familiar way, especially from the Nationals' perspective. Cargo a 2-run shot, his 4th home run this year in 4 ball games against Washington. And then Jose Reyes would make it 4-2 with a solo home run, his first with the Rockies. Washington scratched out a couple of runs in the third, so we go to the fourth. Wilson Ramos will be first in a 4-4 affair. David Hale, we'll see 8, 9, and 1 in that Nationals lineup. Didn't take Dave Dombrowski long to land a new job, did it, George?
No, it didn't. But now president of baseball operations for the Boston Red Sox. Ray Lucchino was stepping down at the end of the year. A lot of people thought that Dombrowski might end up back in Florida again.
On the outside corner, 1-1. Ramos hit a ground ball to third his first time up.
And it's the first time all year I think the Rockies have only had one left-hander in their bullpen. And then Roberts was sent down to make room for David Hale to make this start tonight. And Ben Logan's on the disabled list. They've had as many as 4 left-handers in their bullpen. Blondie's now in the rotation. Laffey's been sent down. Brothers sent down. So Christian Friedrich. So what that does is you try to pick your spot. If Harper comes up in a situation that might be the 6th inning, might be the 7th or the 5th, you don't know. The big situation men on, that's where Christian Friedrich will play a big role in this ball game.
And they're a right-handed dominant team.
Harper, by the way, is 1 for 6 against Christian Friedrich in his career. Just kind of playing the game out in my mind a little bit as you start to just look at matchup scenarios. More times than not, it seems like that 8th and 9th inning, that middle of your lineup rolls around against your bullpen.
It does work that way typically. 3-2.
One of the reasons I say Gary may be having a bad night behind the plate, and he's kind of shown some body language in that respect, that kind of rolling the head, putting the hands on the hips quite a bit, is I see both catchers holding the ball after receiving a pitch. You know, if it's a ball, a lot of times you catch and just throw it back. But I see Nick Hundley and I also see Ramos also holding a lot of pitches near the zone.
Line drive shallow right. Cargo got a good jump on it. Ramos is retired, and that'll bring up Jordan Zimmerman. He hit it on the ground at third, his first time. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code's RocksWin at papajohns.com. Two and two. Sweatshirt night at the ballpark. And Zimmerman hits it slowly, cut off by Arenado. Jordan's out. Two gone.
Little short roller, and then you see the pitcher thinking, maybe I got a chance. Nah, I forgot it's Nolan. Okay, I can jog the rest of the way. Nice little play. See it on the Subaru Supermo. Nola checks the runner, checks Zimmerman out, see if he's going to start jogging. I'll take a little more time and throw the perfect strike, as he typically does.
Outside. Worth is twice hit it in the air to Cargo. I don't know if I've ever seen this guy swing at the first pitch.
He tried to work into hitters counts constantly. He's done it his whole career. That's what made him a very accomplished hitter.
At the knees, a little bit below, evidently. 2-1.
And he guesses a little bit. If you watch him, he will start to move away from the ball with that front left foot watch. And what it is, he's guessing that pitch is going to be middle half in. He's just trying to clear to get to it a lot of times.
He had some real productive years with Philadelphia. He's had his moments with Washington. He's always battled injuries. And that's in the right field, a base hit.
But sometimes the swing does not look pretty. It's a little bit of a 100 pence type swing, but the results are good. Take a look at this swing by Jason Worth here in the fourth inning with 2 outs. Fastball, going to be fooled by it. Now the front foot didn't move at all there. It's just an upper body wide stance hand swing, and had a good result out of it. Trying to cut down on a lot of body action to have better back control.
Worth, one of those guys who used to not only steal a fair number of bases, rarely would get caught. Sharp guy. Espinosa at the plate. He doubled his last time up. Doubled the left center field. Inside. As you get older, and Jason Worth is 36, as you get older, typically you don't steal as many bases. That's part of the game.
Well, your body wears out. You have knee problems, you have back problems, you play a lot of games, as he did. throughout his career, when he's healthy, you can bank 150 games a year with him. And I think, after a while, it just takes a toll on your body. You see it with every player that's successful, great players. Things diminish a lot when they get older.
This could be playable for Paulson. He can't quite get there.
Yeah, part of that's holding on the runner with 2 outs, not playing behind him. Obviously, you're not going to do that. You're going to hold the runner. So it extended the distance to get to the baseball. You see it takes off running. The umpire goes into his position, but it may have cut Paulson off a little bit as he was trying to get into that position, just out of the reach by a foot or so.
He's going to score. Wow. Danny Espinosa with a broken bat, fly ball double that just was fair, and it's 5-4 Washington.
42 RBIs for him now, and I can see from the booth where that ball hit, just on the chalk line down the right field line. And another look at it. You see this ball, and again, this is painted line. It's not chalk anymore, but you can see that the mark in the line down the right field line to indicate that that was a fair ball.
Here's Harper. He has walked twice and scored twice. Hale has been very careful with him. The trouble is, the guy behind him is Burnt David Hale. 2-run home run and an RBI single. Espinosa at second. Bryce Harper last year saw 3.89 pitches per plate appearance. This year it's 4.1. And you say, well, that's just 0.2 of a point. Well, it's significant.
That is.
Two and one.
This whole action at the plate to me is geared to the fastball. The leg kick, the hand start early. But then you see him take a really nasty breaking ball and hit it a mile out of the ballpark. His hands stay in a very good hitting position. I mean, think about what he's accomplished as a 22-year-old baseball player. All you young guys sitting at home who just graduated from college last year at 22. He's in the big leagues with 30 home runs and 73 RBIs, hitting .328. He's walked and scored 2 runs in this ball game. 85 home runs here in his 4th season of baseball, 222, but he's had a lot of injuries he's dealt with. Continue to try to beat him on the inside part of the plate, and he continues to foul it off.
Strike 3 inside corner. So Hale, after walking Harper twice, ends up catching him looking. In the inning, a double scores Worth, and it's 5-4 Nationals.
Is take you back to Sunday's outing when Chris Russin was awesome on the hill and threw a complete game shutout. It was Russin against the Padres, and he was masterful. He had that one bases loaded situation where it was the balk call, and then it came back. He got out of that, and then finally at the end he got a strikeout to wrap things up. And of course, high fives all around. A rarity at Coors Field, a complete game shutout for a Rockies pitcher. And Drew and George, I was talking to him before the game today and just said, did anybody come out and reach out to you about that? And he said that Carlos Villanueva, who's now pitching for the Cardinals, was a friend of his when he was with the Cubs. And he called him and said, hey, who told you about that quick pitch first? Because he uses that quick pitch now. And I guess it was Villanueva. And then he said that his mom, he talked to the next day, she cried during it. And according to his sister, his dad cried as well. But he's not admitting it. But yeah, they both cried watching back at home in Michigan.
Mark, let me think. You know, you're thinking about a guy that's been battling around the big leagues, minor leagues, AAA. Am I going to get my chance? Is anybody going to give me that opportunity again? And then when you see your son come up and have that type of an outing, that's so rewarding for not just him, but for his family.
Yeah, he said he talks to his mom, but usually he waits a day or so, and then he talked to his sister, and he got word about that. But yeah, it was a masterful outing, George. I know you probably saw it.
A lot of fun, man. Yeah. I know those kind of days, you just want to relish them. You know, it's like the ones Drew talk about when you have a really bad one, you got to sit 4 days till you get to have another chance. Well, you just want to sit on that one a while. You don't want to worry about 5 days from now.
I'll tell you what, he's a really good athlete, competitive guy. Great to see him perform like he did the other day. And he's had a number of really solid outings. Obviously, nothing like he did on Sunday, but Chris Russin has showed up very nicely for Walt Weiss and the Rockies this summer.
Somebody had a good look at it.
Hundley retired on the fly ball to center. Kyle Parker is up. Kyle struck out swinging his first time against Zimmerman. Already there. It's 2-1. Zimmerman's got one of those fastballs that hitters will come back and say, man, it's got late life.
Well, it's short, quick arm, and he hides it really well, and that's part of it. He's thrown 64 pitches now. But the ball, even though at 92, seems 94 because it just gets on you so quick. He threw harder, a little bit harder when he was a younger player, a younger pitcher. He could get it into the mid-90s. You can only imagine how much it can pour in on you then.
Yes, with that staff, George, I mean, he still averages 93.6, which is really good. But, you know, when you compare it to Scherzer and Strasburg, he's going to take a back seat to them. First walk allowed by Zimmerman. And that'll bring up Brandon Barnes.
Like fantasy baseball, MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players. Live or on demand on over 400 devices.
Rockies had a 4-2 lead, but the Nationals have scored 3 of the 4 innings. They're up 5-4 here. 1st and 3 between Colorado and Washington. Runner going, and it's on the ground right to short. So Parker will be staying at second base with 2 outs as David Hale will come up. On the ground to second base. Espinosa will throw out Hale, and the Rockies are done in the 4th. We move to the 5th inning. Washington 5, Colorado 4 at Coors Field. Yunel Escobar hit a 2-run home run in the first. Cargo hit a 2-run home run to tie it in the first. Rockies then took a 4-2 lead. But the Nationals are now out in front by a run as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout. David Hale continues on. He needs a quick and efficient inning. Yunel Escobar will be first, and Ian Desmond and Ryan Zimmerman.
David Hale enters the 5th inning with 84 pitches thrown in this ball game. So typically you're thinking, all right, probably the last inning. The Rockies bullpen, it'll start to mill around. Because he hit 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. If they have to go to the bullpen here, pitch count or results, one or the other. You'd like to see him work through the 5th. It could buy you a couple of innings with one guy out of your bullpen. Let the pinch hit, double switch, do a lot of different things.
Escobar is driven in 3. 2-run home run and a single.
Yeah, who invited him to the party anyway? Dadgummit.
Pretty good hitter.
He's a really good hitter. They've got a good ball club, you know, and they looked at the Mets and all the moves that they made at the deadline. They add offense, add bullpen, add all the things that they added to their ball club. And Mike Rizzo was quoted, "I've got all these guys coming back from injury. And everything I'm trying to look at."
DJ, did he just take a hit from him, man?
Again.
What a play by LeMahieu.
See, none of that stuff surprises me anymore. He got the gold glove.
Nor
you
should
almost
it.
expected to see this out of him all the time. I got to talk to DJ tomorrow, too. Watch this play. Just did that touch Hale's glove at all? Kind of deflect towards second? I don't think it did either. I think it was hit too hard. Nice play. Supermo, another look at it. Watch DJ as he catches this ball. 6'4" plant right back up on his feet and a strike thrown to the plate.
There's that
they had to
shortstop arm strength coming out also.
Yeah, if you want to Google this, it's a tough play. Google this sometime.
What's the matter with him? Why did he get that one?
It's called hidden ball tricks. And he had one pulled on him at LSU from a guy from Miami. And he's clearly safe, but of course they don't have replay. They're showing it on TV. I mean, he's safe. He's going crazy. Guy's going crazy. Coach is good. He's going to ask him about that.
Called out though, huh?
Yeah, he got called out.
Desmond a base hit with 1 out. That'll bring up Ryan Zimmerman, a double and a strikeout.
But the point I was going to make, Rizzo was quoted, all the guys I have coming back from injury, Worth was on his way back, Harper had been injured, he was coming back. They're not better than the guys I can trade for. And I'm not going to give up a bunch of prospects for that. Our starting rotation should be better. They brought Ross up. Ross obviously has been a positive. But now all of a sudden the one trade he did make that he thought he needed to solidify was his bullpen. And he made the trade for Papelbon to close out games. They just haven't been able to get to him.
I talked to Mike for a while earlier. He's typically with the Nationals when they're on the road. And he was saying we haven't played one game this year where we had our entire lineup intact. Because Denard Span's been out for a while. He's playing rehab games.
Huge loss.
He's playing 5 innings tonight. He played 3 innings yesterday. You know, in one of those deals, then he'll sit out, and then he'll play 9 and 9, and they reevaluate. So they hope to get him back next week when they're back at home. But you know, Denard Span's a 300 hitter. He's their catalyst, top of the lineup, plays center field. They haven't had everybody healthy at the same time. On paper, man, you got to love their club.
Oh, no question. The teams make runs. You know, it's like watching a game, watching the NBA. They're down 25 with 3 minutes to go, and they win. Well, it's like baseball. They're in one of these ruts right now. The Mets are on hot streak. So the Mets are going to hit a wall somewhere. You hope that starting pitching doesn't happen to them, but somewhere it could happen. And this is where you get hot as your ball club.
On the dirt ball, Ian Desmond moves up. So it'll be a wild pitch.
That's just heads up base running.
It's excellent base running.
Yeah, Desmond he's got 10 stolen bases right now, but that ball popped right out in front to Hundley, and it's a sidearm throw down to second base. As soon as that ball went to the dirt, Desmond was off.
Good secondary lead, and even though that ball was dead by Hundley. I mean, you have to go run 8 feet in one direction or another. It was right there. It's still really hard to then pick it up and fire a strike to second. That's a strike. 3-1 on Zimmerman.
It looks like Germain has started to throw in the Rockies bullpen.
So a walk to Zimmerman. And that's the third walk issued by David Hale. 2 on for Michael Taylor. He's handled Taylor twice. Fly ball to right and a strikeout. Here comes Steve Foster again.
Find a little time for your bullpen. The speed of play, they're going to try to hustle out, and then they'll walk and have the conversation.
I was talking to Walt today. We were discussing this, Huey and I, in the ball game on Sunday. The one sticky moment that Chris Russin had, he had the bases loaded and Justin Upton coming up, and he'd walked the previous hitter, and you think, you know, 95% of the time, that's when the pitching coach is coming out. And Chris Russin's such a tough-minded guy. He'd been pitching so well, and just how cerebral he is. Walt and Steve Foster talked about it, but nobody came out, and he induced a kind of a weak ground ball to third to end the inning. It was also after the balk call, the near balk, you know, the fray was called, and then it was discussed by the umpiring crew, and they took it away. But the point being, they had so much trust in the maturity of not only Chris Russin, but how he was working with Mike McHenry, or was it Nick on Sunday? I'm trying to remember.
No, it was Mike McHenry.
Yeah, it was Mike with McHenry that said, you know what, he'll be fine. And there are other times where the pitching coach needs to go out and slow things down for the pitcher.
I think here's the thing: you look at Chris, and you know, he's not somebody that lights up the radar gun. And I say this about a lot of pitchers, and I think, big lead, double him up. Yeah, it's too high a fly ball. I'm not going to get a chance at it. And he missed over into baseball. But the thing is with it, Drew, is you look at their stuff and it doesn't wow you, but results do. And you start to look and you go, hey, guy went 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 innings, 3 runs. Here's another look at Ben as he took off over this after this baseball, looking back over the shoulder. This one about 4 steps too far. Tough play for a first baseman to get there. Too long a distance for Cargo. But the stuff doesn't, but the results do. And you see and get to know your player by watching him pitch, by watching him perform on a mound. And you just kind of reach over, grab Steve, and go, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
We're fine.
A couple of things about Chris, since we're talking about him. He's got an ERA now, George, under 4, which always jumps out at you, particularly when you pitch half your games at Coors Field. Runners going again. Cargo in deep right, hoping for a play. He'll make the catch and throw it back into the right side. Desmond went back and tagged, so it'll be first and third with 2 outs.
I tell you, great throw by Cargo too. They just about had Zimmerman at first.
And Wilson Ramos will come up. Here's something else about Russell. He has 62 strikeouts, 23 walks. Not quite, but close to a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
What's the secret of Coors Field? Don't walk people. It's only going to help your chances to win.
They're going to go ahead, even though there's a runner on first base. Is time called? See, I know it's a tough call for a home plate umpire because they hear time and your natural reactions to call time, but he's already throwing the ball to the plate.
Well, they call time out of the dugout more than anything because, and the reason behind it, they thought they were going to walk him. And then they decided to pitch to him.
Well, that's interesting because, you know, to walk him, you're forcing another run into scoring position, runner into scoring position. Jordan Zimmerman's on deck, I get it, but Jordan Zimmerman's a pretty good athlete.
116 average with 3 RBIs coming into tonight's game. He's hit a couple of weak ground balls to third.
Ramos, a ground ball to third and a line drive to right that was caught. And it's ahead 0-2.
Plus, you trust in yourself that Hale's going to make a pitch here to get out of the inning.
Two.
Still showing decent velocity, right around his average, 90 with the right last pitch thrown. Trying to get behind David Hale and the Rockies to get this last out here in the fifth. Keep it a one-run ball game.
Nick loses the baseball. Hale's late getting to the plate. Ian Desmond, who's had a heads-up base running trot around the bases here, moved up on the wild pitch, tagged and moved to third on the deep fly ball, and scores on a wild pitch to make it 6-4. That's having an impact on the bases.
Nick Hundley's not happy with himself right now. He's going to try to block this ball out in front, tried to shuffle it. The ball's, he's trying to find it. You're yelling as a pitcher of where the ball is. Desmond, big jump. He got a huge jump well ahead of David Hale.
Three and two. Two pitches in. This obviously will be it for Hale this fifth inning. He's given up a run at least in 4 of the 5 frames in his return after being on the disabled list for more than 5 weeks.
If you don't already receive Hot Rocks emails, you're missing out on the best ticket deals. The only way to receive them is to become a Rockies registered user at Rockies.com. So make sure you do that. You'll get emails on some good deals with teams coming in. Oh, I just nicked it for a foul ball.
Wasted as well.
Well, like he is really battling here.
That's it. Extended their lead in Baltimore to 5-1 in the 9th inning. Sometimes managers will say, I'm not watching, but the honest ones will tell you they're aware. This time of year, you have to be.
The teams are watching because really they got to win their division, and they're 4.5 back there. Yeah. They're 9.5 back in the wild card. Yeah, you can't even think about that.
Looks like they're all coming out of the Central. The way the Cubs have played, the Pirates, of course, St. Louis out in front. Another 3-2, back up the middle. DJ's there. And from the outfield grass, he threw it low, but it was picked up there by Paulson. Another run in the inning. Ian Desmond scores on a wild pitch. 6-4. Nationals leading middle of 5. the bottom of the 5th inning. Jose Reyes going to lead it off. Top of the order for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon not playing tonight. Didn't feel well yesterday. A little bit better today. Is available. So that's why Reyes is starting in the leadoff spot. Second inning. Yeah,
a questionable call on a strike here. You see him turn around and go, wow, really? This ought to be fun tonight. I'll show you how much fun it is. I'll get a high heater and send it over the wall in right field. That's what I'll show you.
Jose's 2 for 2, riding an 8-game hitting streak. Zimmerman the last couple of innings has allowed 1 base runner. He walked Kyle Parker. Other than that, been outstanding. He's kind of settled in after the Rockies got him for 4 in the first 2 innings. But there's Reyes again. That's the kind of hitting Jose Reyes, and now he turns on the Jets. And now he's out on the overslide. I was saying that's the kind of impact Jose Reyes can have. He's moving the ball all over the place and then utilizing his speed. Down a couple of runs, trying to make something happen here, but it's not going to work out well.
Probably not a smart play. You're leading off the inning with a base hit to left field. He's busting it up the line, but Work did a really good job of getting to the baseball. Typically a right fielder, so he's got the right field arm. And then when he tried to swim the slide in, that swim move that they have, you can see him really turn it on here. See, he tries to swim over the top of it, then he got past the bag, and it's kind of a dead duck at that point.
Worth gets an outfield assist. It is the first 3-hit game for Jose in a Rockies uniform. 1 out, LeMahieu with an 0-1 count. Time now for the Lowe's never stop improving step. 1 year to the next, DJ's gone from a 267 average to 319 currently, an improvement of 52 points. That matches what Helton did when he went from 320 to 372. And that's how you hit 320. Look at this. Bryce Harper trying to throw him out.
Nobody backing it up either.
Well, you don't expect that kind of throw. So DJ on the error by Harper is going to move up. I mean, that was straight Little League.
Well, we've seen Larry Walker, I have, in the late 90s here, throw out a pitcher to right field, not the 2-0 hitter in the lineup. Yeah, they're going to watch this. Line drive right field, base hit. All of a sudden Zimmerman gets to it, so they're thinking this is not something that they had planned, because Zimmerman went right to the bag and extended towards Harper, looked over the shoulder to see where DJ was. DJ's busting it up the line. If it's a strike, it's going to be a close play at first base.
Called a strike. Cargo, the 2-run home run in the first, struck out looking at a 3-2 slider at the knees in the 3rd inning. .6-4 Washington. Boy, he got a pitch there he liked. Now Cargo has just killed the Nationals, and it's been with the long ball. 4 home runs in 4 games, and all big home runs.
Now 285 in his career versus the Nationals, 7 home runs and 24 RBIs against the Nationals in his career. And just this year, it's been over his career against the Nationals. 0-2 count here. Remember, on a 3-2 count, he threw slider and struck out Cargo. Now he's ahead 0-2. Let's see where he goes here.
That's outside 1-2. Went off speed there, but you know, Jordan Zimmerman's one of those guys, George, where most pitchers, and obviously you were one for a decade in the big leagues, when they get ahead, that's when they're going to spin it more frequently. Not necessarily the case with Jordan Zimmermann.
He'll throw it at any count, any pitch in any count, but that relates back to the 1.6 walks per 9 innings. You trust all of his arsenal to go at you.
And he gets Cargo for the second time. 2 outs. It's a 5th strikeout for Jordan Zimmermann. Find the latest Albuquerque Isotopes jerseys, t-shirts, novelties, much more at abqisotopes.com. Albuquerque Isotopes, proud AAA affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. George,
hey, I got my present. I was so excited. Yeah. I begged for an isotope hat. Guess what? Got one.
John Traub, the general manager of the Albuquerque Isotopes, took care of us.
Mm-hmm. It'll go home. It'll be on the hat rack with the other 260.
I already took mine home.
I know you did.
Yeah.
260 hats I got at home now from all the fans that sent them a couple of years ago, and I keep getting hats, not regularly, but I still get some hats. So it's nice to get an isotope and put it on the head and take it home with you.
It's a good-looking hat. They have a couple of them. They have a red one with a little slightly different design.
So where's the other red one? Let's go, John. Come on.
He sent one. He sent a black one, a red one.
You took the red one.
I took the red one. I left the black one for you.
Because I have multiple hats. I mow on Tuesdays and Fridays.
You're a big Johnny Cash fan.
Hey, I mow on Tuesdays and Saturdays. I got to have a couple different hats.
Well, you got that.
Weed eat on Thursdays.
There you go. Arenado a double and a strikeout.
I'm the only guy in the neighborhood that's got a 0 turn with a seatbelt.
Really?
I have a lot of fun.
There's hey, look at that. It's a blue Albuquerque Isotopes hat. That's a good find.
Like it.
Donnie Mills on it. This ball line toward the gap in right center field. It'll get down and roll to the wall. Coming home is LeMahieu and Arenado with a run-scoring double. 6-5.
Second double for Nolan in the ballgame. 87 RBIs now for Nolan Arenado. And I wanted to. Zimmerman's looking back up and seeing where this pitch was exactly thrown. Well, you're facing a pretty good hitter here, driven into right field. And he's like, really? Okay. It's one of those nights. He's trying to get through this 5th inning. See how the results continue to go. He's only throwing 82 pitches, though. It's just so far the Rockies have put 7 hits, 5 runs on the board.
Ben Paulson, who has been so clutch. Talk about it almost on a nightly basis. Many of his hits have come late in ball games. We're in the 5th inning here, tying run at second. Paulson fouls it back. Paulson hitting .333 in his career against Nationals pitching. Strike. Boy,
I tell you what, he pulled that back into it, didn't he?
Kind of hooded it. Pitches in, Jordan Zimmermann. Washington with a 6-game losing streak. The Rockies snapped their 6-game losing streak with the 5-0 win on Sunday. Nationals haven't lost 7 straight in a few years. And Paulson gets hit. That'll bring up Hundley with 2 on.
Another look at this, trying to run the fastball in underneath the hands and just catches the hip of Ben Paulson.
Ramos goes out to visit with Zimmerman. Hundley reached on an error by Ian Desmond and also hit a fly ball to center field. That's a strike. Nick 12 for his last 35 at the plate, can tie it up with a base hit to dig out of an 0-2 deficit. Swung on and missed at a slider in the dirt. In the inning, the Rockies get a run back on the run-scoring double by Nolan Arenado, his 87th RBI, and 6-5 going to the 6th. Focus, big MPGs and fun to drive forward, go further by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com, and by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Rockies trailing 6-5 as we go to the 6th inning. We have several changes to tell you about. One we understand, one we're not sure of right now. Brandon Barnes has moved to right field. Charlie Blackmon has come in. Carlos Gonzalez is out of the ball game. So obviously something bothering Cargo. And the new pitcher is Gonzalez Germain. And Keith Duggar perhaps right now filling in Walt Weiss as to why Cargo had to come out, or the extent of it. Obviously Walt knew he had to come out. It's not like he wasn't aware of it at the time, but perhaps elaborating on his condition. As soon as we know something, we'll pass it along. And Jermaine quickly with a 2-strike count on Jordan Zimmerman. Jermaine in his last outing roughed up for 3 runs. This will be his 17th appearance since the Rockies picked him up. And Zimmerman hits it hard to third. And a great throw by Arenado gets Zimmerman, who was running hard. 3 times he's hit it to Nolan Arenado.
Well, normally you don't show a ground ball replay on a pitcher, but when you look at this ball, that's about 93 across the mound, across the field. Golly, what a nice play by Nolan.
Big arm.
Yeah, ball's hit right down the line. He knows he's got it, stays behind it, and fires it. Boy, is it nice to have that kind of arm on the left side along with Reyes and one up the middle with DJ.
David Hale goes 5 innings, allows 6 runs, all earned, 8 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He also had a couple of wild pitches. 0-1 on Jason Worth, 0-2 on Jason Worth. He's coming out pounding the strike zone. 5 pitches all in there. The fastball up, and he struck him out.
Yeah, he's been known for his changeup, but he possesses a good fastball. 94, he changed location, he elevated it, and he threw it right by him. You see Hundley asked for the ball. He wanted it up and away from him, but he threw it on the inner half of the plate on the Subaru Supermo. You get a pretty good look at this, tied the hands up.
Espinosa with 2 outs, 2 doubles tonight. This one to Nolan. And it's a strong inning for Gonzalez Jermaine. So the Rockies right back to the bat rack in the bottom of the 6th, trailing 6-5 at Coors Field. From Benkelman, Nebraska. Thanks for watching the Rockies on Root Sports, and be sure to tell us where you're watching from on Twitter at RootSports_RM using the hashtag #WhereWeRoot. Benkelman, Nebraska. Jordan Zimmerman in the 6th inning will face the bottom third of the Rockies order. Kyle Parker, Brandon Barnes, and a pinch hitter. Still awaiting an update on Carlos Gonzalez. Tweak something on the swing. Anything you can think of. Parker a strikeout and a walk, and he takes a strike there. It's 0-1. One and two. Crushed deep left field. We got ourselves a tie game. Second career home run for Kyle Parker. Boy, did he ever lead on that one. 6-6.
No hesitation, no doubt at all on this ball. Hit out to left field in a hurry. Second home run for Kyle Parker this year. Ball was down low in the middle half. Zimmerman's reaction. Not a good pitch, but a great reaction from this Rocky crowd to tie this ball game up.
Barnes takes ball one.
Justin Miller, the right-hander, is warming up in the Rockies bullpen. Bride has come on to the on-deck circle.
Now ball is short. And Desmond throws out Barnes, one out. Barrel on a slider here.
And he hung it right in the middle of the plate, just dropped a hammer on it.
Big swing from Kyle Parker. Now Matt McBride against Zimmerman with one out. And a base hit for McBride. Good to see from Matt. First hit since coming back to the big leagues.
Well, that's the one thing that McBride has done everywhere he's played. He's played hitter really well. Rick McCaddy on the phone down to the I'll change that. Steve McCaddy. He was pitching against me. I don't know that. Steve McCaddy, the pitching coach, getting somebody up for Zimmerman, trying to get their bullpen loose.
Now that young man on the left side, Rivero, throws gasoline.
Might have to take that gold bracelet off, though, before he gets into the ball game.
Center field for Jose Reyes. Easy play. Taylor's got it. 2 outs. First time they've retired Reyes tonight. He's 3 for 4. And that'll bring up LeMahieu. Well, the way this game started, you had the feeling that it'd be one of those nights at Coors Field. 6-6 here in the 6th inning. It was 3-2 Rockies at the end of 1. Fires it down first to Zimmerman.
McBride, big lead in case that ball goes. A snap throw down, able to get back relatively easy.
Second, Espinoza will retire LeMahieu. In the inning, Kyle Parker hits a game-tying home run, his second as a Rocky, and it's 6-6 as we go to inning number 7.
And I say that because we want to flash back and celebrate the birthday of one of the greatest baseball players of all time. The one and only Roberto Clemente would have been 81 had he been alive today. And as everyone knows, 3,000 hits, his 3,000th in his last game ever. Next week, the Rockies will be on the road in Atlanta and Pittsburgh. They have an off day in Pittsburgh, and we are going to go to the Roberto Clemente Museum, and we'll show you some of that during the Rockies pregame, also in-game, and certainly during Rockies Weekly. So looking forward to that part of our trip next week to Pittsburgh. And happy birthday, Roberto Clemente, guys.
You know who else had a birthday today? The Natural.
Robert Redford.
Robert Redford turned 79 today.
Good baseball tie-in.
Played some baseball at the University of Colorado. And he grew up with the late Don Drysdale. Santa Monica. Here's Bryce Harper against Justin Miller, and Harper fouls his pitch off. Harper 2 walks and a strikeout looking against David Hale. Hale's off the hook. 6-6 game here in the 7th. And Harper hits this one high in the air on the left side. Reyes going out, and Jose makes the play. I'll bring up Yunel Escobar, 2 for 3, 2-run home run, and RBI single. And he was robbed of a hit on a diving play up the middle by DJ LeMahieu. George Doug just mentioned to me it's also the 32nd anniversary of the conclusion of the Pine Tar game.
Yes, it is.
You got to check all 3 bases.
Yeah, you got to check a lot of things in that game.
Before that game resumed.
That was pretty
you
crazy.
appealed to all 3 bases.
Oh.
George Brett could really run, and that's the fastest he ever ran.
Tim McCollum was the home plate umpire.
Tim just retired in the last year. (2-0) on Escobar. Now a native of Cuba. Mets did hang on, beat Baltimore 5-3. Baltimore got a couple runs in the bottom of the 9th. So right now the separation's 5 games between the Mets and the Nationals. See, that's interesting pitch call for me there, George. It's a 6-6 game in the 7th. I know Escobar swung it well all year. He's hit over 300. 2-0 slider. I mean, if he hits a home run, you tip your cap, but you can't put him on.
No. I mean, it's
then you got to battle all the way back. It's 3-0, and you lost him. So on 4 pitches, you put the go-ahead run on with 1 out, and that has been a problem for the Rockies all year. The reason Cargo had to leave, we have just been told, right knee inflammation, and I think that's the same knee that he had. I got to double check that. I thought maybe I
thought it was the left knee because he always talked about picking up, putting the weight on that back knee and being able to drive the baseball, being 100% healthy.
Yeah, you know what, George, you're right. So if that information, if they didn't mix up the knees, the right knee would be something different. Hopefully it's very minor. Right knee inflammation, that's why he had to come out. Mark, you know something?
It's definitely the left knee, guys. You know, I mentioned earlier today that it was a year ago that he had the surgery. He had it in Frisco, and so this was the day after surgery, and he's coming back from it. So it's his right knee. I'm not sure how that inflammation came about.
Well, again, but the surgery was on the left knee, and the report we have is that he has right knee inflammation. I know, Mark, you'll find out more in the clubhouse after the ball game. Stay tuned to the Toyota post-game show for that.
Jansen, Rivero, the right-left combination, down in their bullpen, firing now.
Another one that's going to be really difficult down that line, and Paulson can't make the grab. That's like the 3rd ball that was in a really tricky spot. Definitely the 2nd for the Rockies. There's the ball that went down that in that area.
Hey, look, you get right over there. As soon as you change from grass to the gravel part, sometimes it can spook you because you're trying to follow the ball, but you don't really know how close you are to the wall. You see Ben kind of reach out here, and then it's just right off the edge of the glove. Realized he had a little more room.
Well, they've given him an error. That's a really tough error.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
He's looking at the wall near the stands.
Second one charged to Ben this year.
That one may change. Strike on the inside corner on Desmond. 2-2. Ian is 2 for 3. .433 in his career coming in against the Rockies. Hasn't hurt that average tonight. Strike 3. Desmond didn't like either one of those last two calls.
I'm not sure why he disliked this. It's kind of right in the middle, center cut, top half of the strike zone. Had a little cut to the fastball.
Ryan Zimmerman a double, a strikeout, and a walk. Escobar at first with 2 outs. After the Nationals moved from Montreal, their first round pick, their initial first round pick was this guy out of the University of Virginia. Career 286 hitter. Two and two. Six in the 7th. Back and forth. 2-0 after a half inning. Washington. Rockies took a 3-2 lead after a full inning of play. Rockies were up 4-2. Then they were down 6-4.
Hard slider. A lot of times you try to overamp that pitch to get it to the outside corner. If you remember back in one of Zimmerman's previous at bats, he chased a slider out of the zone. That was back in the 3rd inning for strike 3.
Escobar will be moving 3-2. And Miller loses Zimmerman, so it's the 2nd walk in the inning by Justin Miller. And that'll bring up Michael Taylor.
First 10,000 fans through the gates next Sunday, you're going to receive a Jorge De La Rosa bobblehead. Get your tickets to this ball game versus the Mets. It's good baseball in town right now with the Washington Nationals here. Looks just like Jorge. With the Washington Nationals and then followed up by the New York Mets. Bought tickets, some pretty good giveaways coming up. You got the bobblehead with Cargo, and then you got the bobblehead with De La Rosa. Got heads bobbing everywhere. Including Sam's in the booth. He's bobbing right now.
Michael Taylor, a couple of fly balls to right and a strikeout. Leading all rookies with 15 stolen bases when he's got 9. He's got some power, 10 home runs.
And a big talent. One of the very highly thought of prospects in all of baseball. Looks like he's about 12, doesn't he?
I said that exact line, George, with Jeff when we were in Washington.
Very young.
He looks like a young teenager. And this ball deep short past the diving Reyes. Here comes Escobar. Here's a throw to the plate. Not going to get him. And it's a run scoring hit for Michael Taylor. And back in front go the Nationals. They're up 7-6.
Now the 1-out walk hurts, but the 2-out walk pushes up. meaning you advance the runner into scoring position. And Taylor came up with a big base hit, his 50th RBI of his young career. Ball slid right out of the reach of Jose Reyes into the outfield. You see him dive just off the leather. Probably slowed it down enough that there wouldn't be a play at the plate. Strong, accurate throw from Kyle Parker in the outfield, but not enough to be able to get the speedy Escobar. Scott Oberg is warming up in the Rockies bullpen. Tonight the Nationals 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. The Rockies with just 7 opportunities. They're 2 for 7.
Wilson Ramos takes a strike. Nine hits allowed, but 5 walks also allowed between Hale and Miller. Jermaine didn't walk anybody. So you're talking about 14 base runners in 7 innings, less than 7 innings, 6 2/3. That's 2 an inning, right? That's far too many. Robinson, strong bat, is in the on-deck circle. Big lefty.
270 average on the season, 5 home runs. He's got 21 RBIs, but 5 for 25. A couple of RBIs. More the main pinch hitter. He's gone up 40 times.
Out in front of the plate, Huntley will throw out his counterpart, Ramos. In the inning, a run after 2 walks, then the single by Taylor to put the Nationals in front 7-6, middle of 7. Brought to you by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Experience the new Buick during the Buick Spring Sales event. By Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by GMC, precision matters. Nationals with a 7-6 lead. Charlie Blackmon will come up here to lead things off in the 7th. It'll be his first at bat. Again, he came in an inning and a half ago when Carlos Gonzalez had to leave with right knee inflammation. So it'll be Blackmon, Arenado, Paulson. And the new pitcher is Felipe Rivera. George, you didn't see this kid because you weren't in Washington with us. But I know you've seen him on the tube. This kid is not big, but he throws gas.
And I talked to an awful lot of their scouts over in their organization, different people over there, and they tell me he throws big time gas.
He's up to 98. When the Rockies were in Washington, that pitch was at 96. Oh, 2. And the slider's pulled just foul. That corner can be even tricky for the ball guy down the right field line.
Well, now you're going to embarrass the guy.
I just said it's tricky. Not an easy play.
I got it. 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 Nah, I don't have it.
1-2. This ball's well hit center field, but Taylor's there. Blackmon retired. That'll bring up Arenado, a pair of doubles. 2 for 3.
Yeah, that's all he's going to get a look at, though. They've got the right-hander Jansen going down in the bullpen.
So Rivera gets Blackmon, and Matt Williams wants a right-hander. We'll tell you about who's next when we return. 7-6 Washington. Rosa for the Rockies, Steven Strasburg for the Nationals. Rockies are facing the same 3 Nationals pitchers they saw in Washington. Tonight it was Jordan Zimmerman, Strasburg, and then Max Scherzer on Thursday. Casey Jansen, the veteran right-hander, will take over. And he'll face Nolan Arenado, 1 out, nobody on, bottom of 7. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout. Fastball on the outer edge for a strike. Not a hard thrower.
No, you're not going to see 80 and 95, 96s. You're going to see a ball move in, move out. That was an 87-mile-an-hour cutter. Very good off-speed stuff and impeccable control, but not enough to stop Nolan. Base hit to left field.
3rd hit of the night for Arenado. And that'll bring up Ben Paulson. It's about this time of night that Ben does something special. 0 for 2 and hit by a pitch his last time up.
High heat at 88 miles an hour. Yeah, it doesn't matter how hard you throw. He put it in a pretty good location. Jansen gets some strikeouts with his breaking stuff. That was a cutter on the hands at 86.
Ben hitting .333, 7th inning or later in the ball game. A whole 0 and 2.
Pretty good off-speed pitch there. Look at it, it's a little telegraphed by Jansen there. His body slowed down, the arm slowed down at the very end of the delivery of that last pitch.
Two. Outfield straight up for Paulson. Pretty much straight up in the infield as well. Got all the quarterbacks in the house today. We had Brady, Manning, Russell Wilson. Nobody representing RG3 that we found yet, huh? Washington. I mean, you got to figure with Washington in town, somebody's got to have an RG3 jersey on here. One and two on Paulson. This ball in the air, right center field. Harper's going to get there. And that's the second out. Nick Hundley reached on an error, fly ball to center, and a strikeout after watching the Rockies play on Sunday. Stick around. Rockies Weekly will follow the post-game show. They'll recap the entire week and provide an interview with members of the coaching staff. Don't miss Rockies Weekly Sunday after the game. Opportunity for Bryce Harper. Arenado left aboard after singling. Will go to the 8th. A 1-run lead for the Nats. Washington leading 7-6, top of inning number 8. It'll be the pitcher spot and then the top of the order for the Nationals. So Clint Robinson's going to pinch hit Tommy Kahnle, who's been closing games over the last week to 10 days. He's now going to work in an 8th inning role. Before the ball game, Walt Weiss announced that John Axford, in a save situation, would be back in that 9th inning role that he's held most of the season. Obviously, the Rockies with a deficit right now, so Kahnle's on, trying to keep it a 1-run game for the Rockies offense.
Well, a big right-hander. You see the numbers, 30 1/3 on the season. He'll face a pinch hitter, and Robinson, as Drew just mentioned, talked about his overall ability this year. 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, hitting .270 as a pinch hitter, 5 for 25 with a couple of RBIs.
One and one. Wet. 1-2 count on Clint Robinson.
Yeah, he did. He just blew that fastball right by him. Elevated heater, locked those hands up.
Two and two.
Christian Friedrich is throwing, the only Rockies left-hander in their bullpen. It's anticipation of Bryce Harper.
Change up. It's 3-2. Well, since the All-Star break, the Nationals are 10-20. The Rockies 9-19. And a walk. So Robinson leading off the 8th inning. Jason Worth, a single back in the 4th inning and a run scored. The Rockies now have walked 6 hitters in the game. Rockies have walked 404 hitters this year. That is the most in the National League. 1-1 on Worth. By comparison, Washington has walked 256.
A lot of times you see a pitcher throw a pitch in Coors Field and they look up to see how hard they were throwing. That time Worth looked up to see how hard that pitch was. It was 95.
And that's pulled to left. Long run from Parker. He'll get there near the warning track. Stopping at 3rd is Robinson on a Worth double. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out in the 8th inning.
almost like he hooked this pitch. It's a fastball well out in front on it. And it just looked like it just got enough off the end of the bat to hook it down into the corner. But it does put up a pretty tough situation for Tommy Kahnle. We're going to hold things down at third base. You got a 1-run lead. You got nobody out. You're in the middle of your order. There wouldn't be any reason now to pull that off. Espinosa, a switch hitter from the left side this year. Espinosa has hit .236, the right side .275. They'll elect to pitch to him and let him hit from the left side. Overall, 12 home runs and 32 RBIs this season. Against the Rockies, a .195 career hitter, just 3 RBIs.
Ball foul. And that's Tony Tarasco at first. Both clubs with 10 hits, Friedrich and Oberg. Jose Reyes chatting up Jason Worth. Those two guys have played against each other in the NL East for years. Worth with Philadelphia when Reyes was with the Mets, and then obviously when Worth went down to Washington before Jose moved on, but he stayed in the division initially, going to Miami. Charlie running up on him. Here comes the throw home. Robinson is going to score standing up, and Worth will move from second to third on the sac fly by Espinosa, his second RBI of the night, 33rd on the year. It's now a 2-run lead for the Nationals, 8-6. Once again, a walk has come back to score. That is the 4th walk that has scored tonight.
Well, looking into the dugout, Nick Hundley is of what they want to try to do here. Whether you're going to pitch to Harper, walk Harper, or bring in the left-hander, Christian Friedrich.
I think you see Wall say don't pitch to him. So they'll put Harper on. They'll set up another double play opportunity with Yunel Escobar after that.
Harper this year, 303 versus lefty, 340 versus righties. Go to first. That's a simple equation. Just go to first.
Leads baseball in intentional walks. '87th walk this year for Harper. Thought he led. I got to double check that. That's 12 intentional walks. Nothing like the Bonds years, right?
No. Come on. Let's not get carried away. Let's wait about another 15 years. Then we can start talking comparables.
Paul Goldschmidt is in front of him. That's right. Paul Goldschmidt, 24 intentional walks, then Harper. And actually, Nolan Arenado is right behind him. Nolan's been intentionally passed 10 times. First and third, 1 out, Yunel Escobar. He's driven in 3 tonight. He's out in front of the changeup from Kahnle. Ball and a strike. Washington up a couple runs despite the fact that goes to the backstop. That's going to bring home another run. Second time a runner has scored tonight on wild pitches. That's awful, man. To have 6 walks, and there's been 3 wild pitches in the game, but 2 have allowed runs to score. That doesn't work at this level.
Yeah, the others were bounced in the dirt. This is just really wide of Nick Hundley. He's spread out wide. Going to try to catch up to a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, a 1.5 foot outside, and it goes all the way to the screen by Hundley. And then, yeah, now all of a sudden you got a 3-run ball game. Just 1 out here in the 8th with a runner at second. This is where stuff tells you closer. Stuff tells you setup man in the 8th, eventual closer, but it's got to be thrown over the plate to be successful. Consistently. Well, I tell you what, Donaldson, 2 home runs tonight. He's got 33 and 91 RBIs. Man, oh man, oh man. What a year.
And another walk. Yunel Escobar for the 2nd time. That's the 3rd walk in the inning by Canely. 1 was intentional.
Yeah, Walt's going to pop out. It looks like he's probably going to make a double switch.
It's now 14 out of 15 games that the Rockies bullpen has allowed a run. Descalso is going to play first base. And Scott Oberg will be next on the hill. 9-6 Washington, 1 out in the 8th inning. Got a strong fan photo brought to you by T-Mobile. A good looking family. Ready to hang out the ball. Oh, it's Vinny. Look at that. I didn't notice that. You see Vinny on the right there, George?
Yes, that is Mr. Vinny Castillo. Looks like he could still go out and hit home runs.
So Descalso at first base, as we mentioned. Daniel showing his versatility. And Scott Oberg's now on the hill for the Rockies. There are 2 men on. There's 1 out. Harper's at second. Escobar at first. Ian Desmond is up. He's 2 for 4 tonight.
43rd game for Scott Oberg to appear at the big league level. 3-2 overall record. 39 2/3. 27. Rough night for Tommy Kahnle and finding the strike zone.
Balk was called on Oberg. That'll move the runners up 90 feet.
Another look at the Balk call. See if he starts, stops, and comes up and down. Yep, so he started right there. He started to turn. Once you turn, it's all part of the delivery. And you got to continue to move on, or the balk will be called, and it was called.
So the double play no longer a possibility, at least the conventional one. So 1-1 count on Desmond. Had 3 wild pitches. There have been 7 walks, and now a balk. Not pretty. This is bounced and it's whiffed on by Oberg. He may have had a play on Harper, but once he fanned on it, LeMahieu fortunately was there. He got an out at first. So another run scores. Desmond with his second RBI.
Just anticipation to think you're going to be able to make the play. You jump and you just don't extend the arm. See, the elbow kind of crooked there. Thought he had the ball in it, and he didn't, unfortunately. And one more to look. Came down with it, but forgot to have the ball in the glove.
Ryan Zimmerman now outside. Zimmerman a double and a pair of walks, been on 3 times tonight. Also a strikeout. 1 for 2 officially. Want to stay connected to your favorite teams? Follow Root Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up to date with your favorite team all season long. Here's the 2-1 from Oberg. The former UConn standout misses. It's 3-1. It's Michael Taylor waiting on deck. I wonder if he got his homework done before the game, George.
It's past his bedtime. Got school tomorrow. I think the sideburns are painted on. I mean, he looks like he ought to be in high school right now, but he's obviously playing at a big level at the big leagues.
His dad was a college basketball player. Told the story in Washington, and he wanted to expose him to all the sports. Michael fell in love with baseball and picked the right one. Here he is at a young age in the big leagues. Number 2 prospect in Washington's organization coming into the season. David Hale went 5 innings, and Germain went an inning. And actually Gonzalez pitched well. Miller gave up a run. Tommy Kahnle got just 1 out this inning, walked 3 and gave up a hit. And here's Oberg in another foul ball. And that's a base hit to drive in another run. First RBI for Zimmerman tonight as he smoked that one up the middle. And he brings home Escobar. And it's 11-6.
Just one of those nights. You knew starting out at Coors Field, the Rockies held a 4-2 lead after 2. Tied up in the 3rd. They went ahead in the 4th. Added 1 in the 5th. The Rockies added 2 more, and now they've added 4 here in the 8th inning. Frustrating night for Walt Weiss. All 4 of those runs charged to Tommy Kahnle. His earned run average jumped to near 5 now.
Michael Taylor, he had an RBI single last inning. He's 1 for 4.
Interesting note just given to me. The Nationals have gone 7-0 when you score 10 or more runs this season. Well, I would hope so.
What was that again?
With their pitching staff and their bullpen when it's right, and their offense, when they score 10 runs or more, they're 7-0.
Wow, it'd be shocking.
If they were 0-7.
If they were. Was anything but unbeaten, it would be disturbing, right? And this is kind of just punched up the middle by Taylor. And that'll bring up Ramos. He'll be the 9th man to hit in the inning.
Second straight hit for Taylor. He's 2 for 5 tonight.
Yeah, Conley counseling young Scott Oberg. Yeah, you made a good pitch. Got a bad result. Let's move on. Or something like that. Three hits in the inning. A sac fly. 3 walks, including an intentional walk. So all 3 who've walked have scored. Kahnle, who went a third of an inning, gives up 4 runs on only 1 hit. That's hard to do.
Walk 3, wild pitch 1, to give up a single.
Ramos 0 for 4. Only guy not to have reached tonight for Washington. He's not going to reach here. Finally, the inning comes to an end. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. After 4 more for Washington, they're up 11-6. game was tied at 6. It's now 11-6 Washington. They've scored in every inning save 2. Kyle Parker's going to lead it off. Last time he was up was the 6th inning. It's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game because the Rockies trailed 6-5, and he did this on a 1-2 slider. He tied up the game against Jordan Zimmerman. And you felt like it was going to be the Rockies' night for showing great resiliency. But it's now 11-6. That was our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. It's Kyle Parker with his 2nd career home run. He leads it off in the 8th inning against the former closer of the Nationals, Drew Storen. He was bumped to the 8th inning when they acquired Jonathan Papelbon at the trade deadline. Problem lately, Frazier, is they haven't been able to get to Papelbon.
No, they haven't. And Storen's had a couple of tough outings too. And I mean, this is a young man that's had a very good arm. And you saw 29 of 32 opportunities. And the Rockies did get after him against the Rockies this season against the Rockies. 0-2 with a 27 ERA. Reyes Gotti, a number of players. There's that wipeout slider that he possesses. Now this is one guy out of that bullpen that is going to have to get straightened out for them to have a chance.
Cargo hit the grand slam against Storen. A week ago Friday. 2-2. Twelve hits for Washington, 10 for the Rockies. And that should drop. Another base hit for Kyle Parker. Tell you what, Kyle was, and as he should anyhow, hauling it up the line, but in a straight line. He wasn't trying to turn as most guys would on a base hit because Bryce Harper was coming quickly, and he saw what happened earlier when Harper tried to throw out DJ LeMahieu on a base hit.
Well, Storen just can't believe it. I mean, he's making pretty good pitches here. Things aren't going your way right now out of your bullpen. And he tried to get that ball in on the hands. Parker fought it off to right field. It dumped out in front of Harper.
Nats ERA in the month of August from their bullpen is 6.11.
Yeah, what is that, 24th or 29th in the league right now?
It's 27th.
Yeah.
The Red Sox are 7.06. The Rockies ERA is in that neighborhood also. The Nationals bullpen had been doing a good job. Figured it just got stronger when they acquired Papelbon. And they also brought up Blake Trinan, George. And that guy has an unbelievable arm. 98-mile-an-hour sinkers.
Really good fastball. I mean, they've got some arms at the AAA level. AA Gelato's with a big arm that really throws it. Rivero, you saw tonight. Giolito, they think, could be in this rotation possibly next year. He's been bumped to AA after spending most of the year there.
I mean, Roark won 15 games for him last year. And
long guy in the bullpen right now.
This ball is hit pretty well left center field by Barnes. Just how well did he get it? Boy, that's a good catch by Worth. He must have run 40 yards to get to that baseball. A long out off the bat of Brandon Barnes.
I watched Worth in batting practice. He tracked an awful lot of baseballs in left field. And kind of this same type of action. He'd get in his normal starting position, take off, track, try to get to the ball, make the catches as he does here, and then to throw in. And had a little snow cone action at the very end of this. So he kind of ride up the leather to the very end. Worth able to hang on to it.
Daniel Descalso with his first at bat. He came in a double switch. He's playing first base. And he takes a pretty good hack right there.
7th time he played first this year. 2 times he started there. 16th time in his career that he's been at first base.
Used to be, George, in your day, the utility infielder could play short and second.
Short second and maybe in a clutch left field. If you had to have it in an extra inning game.
Now there are more and more guys that, I mean, there's a bunch of guys that can go play center and play in the middle of the infield. There's guys like this Calso who play all 4 infield spots. Jeff Houston was that way. Jeff could play everywhere. Jeff could go in the outfield. Jeff obviously was a shortstop by trade.
But the difference is, Drew, back then, and I say back then, and it was back then, you didn't double switch a whole lot. Starting pitchers were going 7-8 innings, 4-man rotation, and it's a different game than it is today. I mean, they're double switching in the 5th inning of games now, trying to buy an extra inning or 2 out of your bullpen so you don't blow it up and wear it out.
And at third base, Quinn Walcott said this Calso went, so that's the second out.
And when you're a bullpen guy and you're struggling to get some outs, and you know you've struggled against the Rockies, he showed his numbers, 0-2 with a 27 ERA, that you have an outing like this where you might give up a hit, but you're not giving up any runs. And that can set you on a roll for 3 or 4 days. I always felt like American League relievers could get straightened out quicker and easier than National League relievers. Why? Because you don't have to get pinch hit for it. You could go out and find that release point, find that rhythm on your pitches. When you get to throw 2 or 3 innings, maybe get stretched out a little bit, then get 2 or 3 days off, do it again, a couple of more innings. Or I said, now you get on that roll and you get moved back into that prominent area of the bullpen.
1-1 on Reyes. Jose's had a nice ball game. 3 hits tonight. First time in a Rockies uniform he's had 3 hits, and he also hit his first home run in a Rockies uniform. Line drive into the seats over the scoreboard in right. And Jose will need a new weapon. It looks like that same model that Todd would use quite a bit, Mizuno.
Well, they make pretty good lumber. Well, they all do now.
Yeah.
Looks like Nolan might have a Mizuno bat in the background also. Or, excuse me, TJ LeMay.
This ball is down the line fair. I don't know how he did that. Into the corner. And Parker around third gets a stop sign from Stu Cole. It's a double. It's a 4-hit ball game for Jose Reyes.
When they're looking over, Storin is at their dugout is fair or foul. That's fair. It went right down the line. That's exactly what it did too. Kind of hooked this thing outside corner. And I don't know how he did it either, to be honest with you. That's why hitters amaze me. You get a great look at it right here. Right inside the first base bag and curled down against that wall in the corner.
That's the 31st 4-hit game of Reyes' career. He has one 5-hit ball game. Here's LeMahieu.
TJ 2 for 5 against Storin in his career.
Jose had a 4-hit game with Toronto earlier this year in July against the Red Sox. 2-0's in there, 2-1 on DJ. Single to right in the 5th inning, and DJ would score. Actually moved to second immediately because that's when Bryce Harper tried to throw him out at first base, and he missed everything. The ball went past home plate. This is in the air down the right field line, and Harper in foul ground is going to make the play. The Rockies had a couple of hits. They'll leave 2 on. We'll go to the 9th. It's 11-6 Nationals.
Right after baseball tonight, we have the Toyota post-game show. We're going to be talking about Cargo Watch. Yes, he left this game. We'll have an update for you on that knee inflammation that's been reported for Cargo, but he did have his 4th home run against the Nats in just 4 games against Washington so far this season. And then the parking ride, Kyle Parker with a big home run, just his 2nd of the season. And we will also discuss no relief. That's what's been happening for the Rockies bullpen as of late. It was a back-and-forth game until the 8th inning. Guys, we'll send it back to you, and we'll see you right after this one.
All right, Jenny, thank you. 9th inning, Scott Oberg will continue on. He got the final couple of outs in the 8th inning. Tyler Moore is going to be the pinch hitter, the number 9 spot, so Moore will pinch hit here. Tyler Moore, along with Clint Robinson, both have pitched in a ball game this year for Matt Williams.
That's not a good thing when that happens. Friedrich is throwing. Roark is throwing for the Nationals in their bullpen.
Moore swings through the slider. It's 0-1. Nationals trying to get back to 500. Slipped a game under 500 for the first time in months. Catch out there by Barnes. 1 gone. Worth a single and a double. Shake up in the lineup for Matt Williams. Trying to get Worth going. Trying to do something that'll ignite this offense. He put Worth back at the top. 82nd time in Jason's career he's hit in the leadoff spot. I talked to him before the ball game, and you know, he's always been a team guy. I think he would prefer, you know, to get himself right and be an RBI type of guy, but more than willing to do whatever's necessary to get his club turned around, especially with Denard Span not available.
Well,
Hope to have him back next week.
You know what I think part of it is too. I mean, you look at their lineup tonight. It was shook up a little bit by Matt Williams. They just got swept by 4. Let's flip some things around here. Zimmerman's down in the lineup. Their bottom 4 guys that some of their leading RBI guys outside of Harper. Well, we're going to flip it around. We'll have a little fun tonight and see what happens. Well, 12 hits and 11 runs.
Yeah, after a day off, Anthony Rendon, who was 5th in the MVP voting last year, has battled injuries and then, struggling to find his timing. He wasn't in the lineup tonight. 3-1 on Worth. And that's ball 4. Another walk. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a ball game. The Rockies season high in walks is 10. That was May 10th against the Dodgers. They've walked 9 here in this game. So Walt will go and bring on Christian Friedrich. 1 out in the 9th. There's 1 out and 1 on. Jason Worth just walked against Scott Oberg, so Christian Friedrich finishing up his warm-up tosses. Will be appearance number 50 for Friedrich.
Yeah, it's a lot. He's pitched an awful lot this year. 47 1/3 innings at 49 appearances so far and 36 strikeouts. Earned run average at 4.94.
Switch hitting Danny Espinosa goes to the right side. Danny, a .275 hitter righty, .236 this year from the left side. Out of play. Line drive, base hit, right center field. And Espinosa makes it first and second for Bryce Harper.
3rd hit for Espinosa in the ball game today.
13th hit for Washington as a club.
fifth inning, we talked a little bit about the Rockies bullpen. Only one left-hander down there, and that Walt would have to pick and choose the meaningful part of the ball game. It's not meaningful. It's 11-6. But he's facing Bryce Harper, trying to keep him in an 11-6 ball game. He's 1 for 7 in his career against Christian Friedrich as Walt looks on.
You know, the Rockies gave up 2 in the first. David Hale gave up a 2-run home run in the first to Yunel Escobar. It marked the 20th time in 29 games since the All-Star break that the opposition has scored first. It's the most in baseball. Now 15 times, actually 16 with tonight, the Rockies have come back to retake the lead. So they've been resilient, but they're obviously allowing the opposition to jump out in front early, and now you're always playing uphill. One of several reasons the Rockies are 9-19 in the second half. 2-0 on Harper. Took the whole way there. It's 2-1. Inside 3-1. Harper's one of 12 players in history, 3 active, to have hit at least 55 home runs prior to their age 22 season. 2 active in addition to Harper: Mike Trout, Giancarlo Stanton.
Some of the best young players in the game today. Harper walks.
And that's the 10th walk by the Rockies pitching staff tonight. Yeah, and you can't blame it on, boy, they're overworking. You had a complete game on Sunday and a day off yesterday.
You're not going to win many games at the big league level. He knows it. Walt knows it. Steve Foster knows it when you walk that many players.
Well, Christian is the 6th pitcher used tonight by Walt. The only man not to walk anybody was Gonzalez Germain. Hale walked 3. Miller walked 2. Canley walked 3. One of those was intentional. Scott Oberg walked 1. And now Friedrich has walked a man. Escobar, he's walked twice, and now he has his 3rd hit. The 12th run will score as Worth comes home. Bases remain loaded.
Fastball right down the middle, 91 miles an hour, and pulled right in between short and third, and the run will come around to score to make it a 12-6 ball game.
Harper, who's standing at second base as Ian Desmond comes up, has walked 4 times in the game. That's a new career high. Desmond's 2 for 5.
That's one of those that was intentional. So does that? I wonder if he had one also with the 4 walks earlier. Was an intentional walk.
No, it's a new career high. He never walked 4 times,
including intentional walks. See, I think it walks. You know, like ball 4, good pitch. Now stand up with your hand out. Fighting to find the strike zone now. Christian Friedrich behind 2-0.
Two 2-0 on Desmond. Once again, the only 2 innings that Washington has not plated a run. The 2nd inning, and they had a man at third in the 6th inning when Germain retired them in order. They have scored in every other frame, and they're about to score some more. At least 2 will score. Yunel Escobar will get a stop sign from Bob Henley. It's a 2-run double for Ian Desmond. He has driven in 4 tonight. He has 45 RBIs. 14-6.
I see this ball just slice out into the outfield on the Subaru Supermo. Center cut fastball from Christian Friedrich. And the chase was on. Charlie going to try to get it back in. And I thought in that situation, too, that third base coach Bob Henley goes, okay, enough's enough. I'm not a game forcer.
He's actually done that, I think, George, on the last couple of hits where in a different type of game, he would have sent the runner. Ryan Zimmerman.
Rockies! We love you, Rockies! Let's go, baby!
Bryce Harper, a couple of new career highs. The 4 walks, also 4 runs scored tonight. He's never done that before. He doesn't have a hit. He's 0 for 2. How about that? You have a new career high in runs scored. And you say, hey, man, how many hits you have? You hit a couple bombs, I'm sure, right? Nope, didn't have any hits.
I think the only time he touched the ball actually was when he fouled it out, because he struck out on a 1 pop fly foul, and then the fly ball to Reyes at short.
That's it.
And he struck out the other time.
Struck out looking. 2-1 on Zimmerman, and this ball is well hit right center field. And it'll be caught out there by Barnes. Coming home with the 15th run is Escobar. Desmond goes second and third. Zimmerman has his second RBI. He's got 47 ribbies. A sac fly for Ryan Zimmerman. And that's the second out. And that'll bring up Michael Taylor. Right now, my national scorecard, George, on their side looks like I'm trying to fill out a coloring book. Taylor 2 for 5. He was 0 for 3 entering the 7th inning, an RBI single in the 7th, a single in the 8th, and here he is up in the 9th. 15 runs, 15 hits. The Nationals have also committed 3 errors. Filling up every stat column. 2-0, and Taylor on 2 hops to Reyes. He's flying up the line. He's down by a step. 4 runs in the inning. It's 15-6. Now at Southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price, sales service guaranteed. And by Saratoga Casino, so new, so you. Pretty night in Mile High City. The scoreboard not so pretty. The Rockies down 15-6, bottom of the ninth inning. Tyler Moore stays in the ball game at first base, and Tanner Roark is the new pitcher for the Washington Nationals. Charlie Blackmon's going to be first. Roark a year ago went 15-10 in 31 starts with a 2.85 ERA. Not good enough to keep your spot in that Washington rotation. Huh?
Yeah, and they sent him to the bullpen when Scherzer came on board with his contract, and so now he works out of the bullpen. It is a 15-6 ball game now.
And this ball's well hit to center field, really well hit, and it is off the very top of the wall. And Charlie has himself a leadoff double in the night. 1 for 2 since coming on for Carlos Gonzalez, who had to leave with right knee inflammation. 25 doubles for Blackmon.
Yeah, they're thinking fastball because you're up 9 runs. You throw a 92-mile-an-hour heater straight, no sink, and Charlie made it pay. Chase almost ran out of real estate. That ball, I thought, had a chance to get up out over the wall, but it hit out the wall. And Charlie jogged into second base. Well, Nolan's got a chance for another base hit. He's got 3 tonight, 2 doubles, a single, hit a home run, or excuse me, scored a run. 87 RBIs. Chance to get 88.
Rockies trailed 2-0 after a half inning of play, and then Cargo had a 2-run home run immediately to tie it against Jordan Zimmerman. Then Nolan doubled. He would score on an error when Nick Hundley grounded to short. Should have ended the inning. Ian Desmond had the ball pop out of his glove. Rockies had a 4-2 lead at one point. It seems like a million years ago. 15-6 now. Tell you something else about Tanner Roark. Not only was he 15-10 last year, he came up for 14 ball games, 5 starts in 2013. He went 7-1 with a 151 that year. So he entered this year 22-11. But
pretty good,
again,
huh?
yeah, but not good enough to crack their rotation. It's fouled off, out of play. Out of the University of Illinois, Fighting Illini. That's fouled off. With a 96-mile-an-hour fastball to strike out Nolan Arenado.
And he elevated it too. You know, he'd been pitching to 91, 92, and all of a sudden he jumps it up 4 miles an hour and elevates it in the zone, and Nolan not able to catch up to it.
Mike McHenry's going to pinch hit here. Blackmon at second after doubling. Rockies got it to 6-6. 9 runs the last 3 at bats for Washington. On the ground to short. Two outs. Nick Hundley at the plate. Nick's 0 for 4. A rare 0 for day for Nick. Came into the ball game hitting .303. Takes a strike on the outer edge. De La Rosa at Strasburg tomorrow.
Well, Zimmerman's going to look back at this ball game and say, I didn't deserve to win it. There's going to be some, like the one he had 8 innings, 4 runs, 4-hit shutout against the Rockies. He ended up not getting a decision when Cardinals hit the grand slam.
Zimmerman is going to remain unbeaten against the Rockies. 10
you had to
starts.
think for a minute, didn't you, after the way he pitched? You're like, yeah, they scored in the top of the 7th to go ahead.
Yeah, he
pitched the bottom of the 6th.
He was still the pitcher of record.
I had to double take myself. And old wise man told me there's never a bad win. Take them anytime you can get them. They're hard to get.
1-2, foul tip held. That's the ball game. Well, the Rockies hung in for a while, but then the walks and another rough night for the bullpen. They're undoing. They fall 15-6 to Washington. The Nats snap a 6-game losing streak, which matched their longest of the year. They get back to 500. They're 59-59. And they keep pace with the Mets, who won earlier this evening. The Rockies fall 21 games under 500, 48-69. Again, Zimmerman takes the win. He's 9-8, and the loss goes to Miller. He's now 1-2. Jenny and the gang will be around next with the Toyota postgame show. 15-6 Washington.